Now that we have everything set up, it's almost time to add some documents to our cluster. We'll be dealing with how to manage data in this section of the course, but first I want to show you how to create and delete indices. You have already seen how to create an index, but this time I'll configure the number of shards and replica shards, just so you know how to do that as well. We added an index named pages in the previous section, with the purpose of exploring how shards are distributed across nodes. We don't really need that index anymore, so let's go ahead and remove it. Doing so is extremely easy. Remember how Elasticsearch exposes a REST API? This means that the HTTP verb is used as a way to specify which action we would like to perform on some resource, in this case an index. For delete operations, we simply enter delete as the HTTP verb, followed by the name of the index. Remember that a / is optional within Kibana's console tool, but I prefer to include it. So delete pages, and let's run it. That's it. The pages index is now gone. To replace it, I'll add an index named products. As you've seen before, when adding an index, we use the put HTTP verb. So put products. Instead of using the default settings, I want to specify the number of shards and replica shards for the index. Note that I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes. For indices that you create for production purposes, you should stick to the default values unless you have a reason for not doing so. To specify index settings, we need to add a request body. That's done by adding a JSON object on the next line. The first line specifies the HTTP verb and endpoint, while the following lines specify the JSON request body. The index settings should be specified within a nested object named settings, so let's add this object. Let's set both the number of shards and number of replica shards to 2. To specify the number of shards, we use the number of shards key and give it a value of 2. And to specify the number of replicas, we use the number of replicas key. Like so, and also give it a value of 2. And that's it. So let's run the query. The acknowledged key within the response indicates whether or not the index was successfully created. The shards_acknowledged key indicates whether or not the required number of shards were started up before timing out. By default, this refers to the primary shards. That's it for creating and removing indices. Let's move on to putting some documents into this new index.